Welcome back. This is one of those trades where, I was debating about which gear I was going to wear. And I thought, okay, so I like what Seattle gets here, but my usual rule is the best player in a trade, I'll wear the gear for the team that's getting the best player. Since Tampa Bay gets two players and Seattle gets one, and Tampa Bay is getting the better player of all three, they're getting the best player. I think Bjorkstrand's the best player. I'm wearing Tampa Bay gear. But that is not to say that I think Seattle did poorly. I think Seattle did very well here. And we'll see if this convinces any other teams to sell when they see the prices teams are willing to pay. Although this is Tampa. Tampa famously gave up a whole bunch of draft picks for Jeannot, and they gave up some draft picks for what they got today. So Yanni Gourde is headed back to Tampa. He played for the Lightning from 2015 until 2021 when he was taken, I believe, in the expansion draft by Seattle. 36 games this season for Seattle, 6 goals, 11 assists for Gourde. He's been a good foot soldier for the Seattle Kraken, and now he goes back to Tampa. He's in the final year of a contract. The cap hit is $5.16 million, although at this point in time, because of accruing cap space and all this thing that teams do, the cap hit doesn't seem to matter quite as much. Although with Bjorkstrand it does, because he's not a rental. Oliver Bjorkstrand, 61 games in Seattle, 16 goals, 21 assists, 37 points. I would think he'll slot onto the third line for Tampa. So with Atkinson clearing and Atkinson likely headed down to the minors, Bjorkstrand will occupy I would think, third line position. Gourde probably a third liner as well. A $5.4 million cap hit for Bjorkstrand is fair. And it does not expire until next summer. Now, there's a draft pick going to Tampa, the 2026 fifth-round pick from Seattle, but Seattle does pretty darn well here. Mikey Eyssimont going to Seattle. That's not the pretty darn well part. Although I like Eyssimont as a fourth liner. 57 games, 5 goals, 5 assists this season, 10 points for Tampa. He has an $800,000 cap hit, and his contract expires this summer. So we'll see if he plays well enough for Seattle between now and the end of the season that they say, you know what, we'll keep him around. We'll see what happens there. But Eysimont's headed to Seattle along with what I think is a pretty good haul. A 2026 first-round pick that's Tampa's. A 2027 first-round pick that's also Tampa's. And Toronto's 2025. So this year, the 2025 second-round draft pick of the Toronto Maple Leafs. So that's a really good haul for Bjorkstrand, who's not a rental, and Gourde, who is a rental at this point. Although if Tampa decides to keep him around, I think they'll figure out a way to make it work. I understand what Tampa Bay's doing here. They feel like they have a chance to pry that window open for cup relevancy, and to maybe take another run at it. Maybe they do. They had a longer off season this past summer than they normally do. And they've looked a little more focused recently than they have in some time. So this might be the perfect time to make these additions. But for Seattle, I mean, they weren't going to bring Gourde back, and they're a team that's out of contention. Bjorkstrand, I don't think, has played as well this year as last year for Seattle. So this is an understandable move. When you're getting multiple first-round picks, plus that 2027 first-round pick, that's 2 years from now. Who knows what kind of state Tampa Bay will be in 2 years from now. This is a Lightning team that's doing its best to stay in contention, thus letting go of Stamkos and bringing in Gensel, which has worked very, very, very well. But you have to think at some point in time, these draft picks are going to become actually pretty decent picks. And maybe by 2027, Tampa Bay's first-round pick becomes a pretty decent pick. So I think both teams did well. I think I'm wearing Tampa because they get the best player, but I think Seattle did quite well here too. And we'll see if this causes other teams to pivot and say, you know what, we will sell this pending UFA because look what Seattle got for Bjorkstrand and Yanni Gourde. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below regarding this trade. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. It's greatly appreciated. I will talk to you again soon.